So again, YouTube flagged a video of mine with, I'm saying, an inappropriate flagging. I'm going to let you be the judge, and I'm also going to essentially present the same data that was in the video. Now, I have to explain that this video is the second version or the second upload of that video. The first one was complained about not for harassment and cyberbullying or threats, but for revealing personal information of some entity. Now, when that happened, YouTube and Google tacitly acknowledged that wasn't true, but they still took down the video and still left up a warning, which had no effect on the channel, but they wouldn't remove it because they were being kind of vindictive and pissy about it. This re-upload I did, I made sure it was much clearer. I think I just redid the video and made it almost exactly the same length and then edited it to be the same length. It had exactly the same data in it, and YouTube didn't flag it at the time, and this is back in 2018. Now, they flagged it today for harassment and bullying, not for giving out someone's personal information or some entity. Now, the only thing that they flagged on this video, however, that was available for them to evaluate was the audio and video data in their upload and the title, because the description was redacted. But again, this is harassment and bullying, a flagging. So let's see who it could be that I was bullying or harassing here. And I'm going to let this be up to your interpretation. The video they flagged was named Stephen Paddock, height and eye color, and then 2010 Deep Blue Charters and Salmon Falls Resort, Ketchikan, Alaska. And it's redacted for all descriptions. Now, if you're not aware of how to interpret that, that just had the names of the information that was mentioned in the video besides what the subject matter is, which is me looking up information people said proved that Stephen Paddock had been cloned and maybe he was from another planet. And then I was debunking it. Now, this is the second version of it. This is the April 6th re-upload of it, and I made both uploads the same length. This one today is flagged for cyberbullying somebody. Is it Stephen Paddock? Is it Deep Blue Charters out of Alaska? Or is it Salmon Falls Resort that's complaining about being harassed or cyberbullied or threatened? Or is it the city of Ketchikan or the state of Alaska that says that I'm doing something? And remember, the original complaint that was done against this video before I made a new version of it and I re-uploaded it was that I was somehow violating someone's privacy. Now, if you can't figure out, I'm being kind of snarky and being facetious here. Obviously, I'm not doing anything like that because Stephen Paddock is dead and a public person, and I was using publicly available data. And the only thing about the Deep Blue Charters or Salmon Falls Resort is those are the two places in Alaska that he got his 2 fishing licenses at that were subject matter in the video. Now they're the subject matter of what the complaint could be. Unless it's a city in Alaska or the state of Alaska making the complaint. Those are the only 2 entities besides Stephen Paddock that could make a complaint. And Paddock is dead. I know, shocking, right? So the other reason is that, oh, by the way, did anybody know about, earlier part of the year, YouTube started flagging channels like mine for videos that weren't up, that didn't exist, that had no video or audio data, that were broken uploads, or videos that had never existed, and saying that my channel would be taken down for violations of random stuff. And in the last week, they flagged this channel for putting links in that were pornographic. They also did that, by the way, on a video like this one here that had no description, it had no ability to link to any pornography. So YouTube is either A, being legitimate about this and making a real complaint, or they're just putting out fake flags and demanding you do a demand for them to review it. Now, when I submitted the review about this video, the previous one here, when I submitted that review demand, they have a little box for you to put in why you want it reviewed. You could just say, just review it rather than giving an explanation. So I started typing the explanation. I hit a letter on the keyboard while it was blinking in the box to put in my explanation. I think I hit the letter D, and it said, thank you for submitting your response without letting me fill it out. So that seems a little bit like maybe I'm not being paranoid when I say that YouTube doesn't want me to have a channel And instead of just taking down the channel and not giving an explanation and being totally guilty of that, on a channel that up until today, again, they had admitted every flagging they gave it was wrong and took them down, they've decided to maintain at least one more flagging on the channel. Again, by flagging it for something akin to me harassing a dead man named Stephen Paddock. So this is the previous upload that they flagged. Again, this was privacy complaint, March 29th. Now, I want to point out that it had a bunch of links that led to what I had up on the screen. It's basically a slideshow. Same title, and this here was in the explanation for it. Now, I'm going to read back what that was supposed to say. The clerk or paddock that filled out his fishing license had bad handwriting and or just filled it out wrong. So maybe that person's complaining? So let's move on to the slideshow. This is Stephen Paddock's voter registration in 1984 that was supposed to be for Democratic Party. This, by the way, isn't really an authentic document, but people keep presenting it as such. I was debunking this in the video. This may or may not be accurate data, but it's not really a voter registration screenshot. It looks like one, but we can't confirm it. No one's offered to confirm it. They just wanted him to be a Democrat because they were afraid he was a Republican. Next, Stephen Paddock's FAA pilot license data from 2003, 2008, that sort of thing. And it said that he needed to wear glasses while flying. It doesn't matter what else it says because it really doesn't say anything else. But people said this was somehow a smoking gun of some sort. Next, this is his 2010 August 2010 issued passport. And it was supposed to have some information in it that isn't consistent with some other information. Now you can read it here, and all it says is, if you need more information about his description or whatever, it's on a different sheet of paper. But this was presented as proof of something that isn't on the screen you're looking at. And that was done by truthers. Like, this is sort of like waving the letter A and saying that proves something when you're not explaining what the fuck it is. But at least I showed it on the screen, just like I did now. Next, this is one of the two fishing licenses. This is the 2010 May 31st one. And in it, it says he's 6 foot 1 inches. How many inches is that? And 225 pounds. And they said that this somehow had a smoking gun of being inconsistent with it saying his body when it came in after he was dead was 224 pounds and he was 73 inches tall. Because truthers is 73 inches 6 foot 1. Or is it 6 foot 3 or 4? The claim was that even though this could easily be 6 foot 1, it had to be 6 foot 4 so somebody could make some hay out of it. And also the eye color was supposed to be brown or blue or whatever, and hair color brown. Or Stephen Paddock filled it out while drunk, or maybe the guy just looked at him and assumed these things. But no, that has to be a smoking gun because he has brown eyes and gray hair instead of brown hair and gray eyes or whatever the hell that word was. Again, this is bad handwriting. If you want to interpret that as blue, okay. But that doesn't mean you have a smoking gun. And then people bring up, this is an official government document that says under penalty of perjury. No, it's a receipt saying you paid the state $20 so you could go fishing. It's not a gigantically important contract with a pain of death and dismemberment associated with it. And if you filled it out by mistake, they're not going to punish you for making an honest mistake. And it could have been the clerk that filled it out instead of Stephen Paddock. Or Stephen Paddock just filled it out wrong because he wasn't paying attention. Or maybe it's just bad handwriting. And, yeah, that's the information that was filled out about him being 73 inches tall. How many feet and inches is that? And 224 pounds instead of 225. Well, that has to prove that he's an alien clone. Moving on. And this is the scribed document, 321 pages that I listed that I asked people to go look through to find any inconsistencies. So let's review. I did a video about Stephen Paddock's height, eye color, weight, etc., comparing to a 1984 voter registration that doesn't mention any of it, a 2003 to 2008 pilot's license data that doesn't list much of it, if any, a 2017 October 6th autopsy report, and some websites. And somehow this was supposed to be some smoking gun, and I was debunking it. The fishing permits from Deep Blue Charters Gustavus, Glacier Bay, Alaska in 2010, and Salmon Falls Resort, Ketchikan, Alaska in 2009 were compared in the video. I concluded that whether it was a clerk or paddock, the person who filled out the fishing permits had bad handwriting and or was simply wrong about something, like eye color, height, weight, hair color, doesn't matter. Team YouTube reviewed this video, basically the same thing you just watched, and decided to flag and erase the video for violating YouTube harassment, threats, and cyberbullying policies. So I'm not allowed on that channel to upload, post, or live stream for a week. So who do you think was really the person I pissed off? Or was it just YouTube spinning the wheel of stupid and coming up with an excuse to flag my channel somehow? I honestly can't tell anymore. And again, the whole point is to shut me up. Otherwise, they would just say, we want the video taken down, but we're not going to prevent you from uploading or talking. And again, this is like, I think at this point on this specific channel, the 12th time in 1 year that they've flagged the channel for something and then retracted it, including flagging my channel for videos that didn't exist, flagging my channel for videos that were not acknowledged as being incorrectly flagged, but they removed the strikes and made me have full functions. The only thing they've done is maintain at least one warning on the channel constantly, or constantly do the thing you're seeing now, which is flagging me for shit, not only that I probably didn't do, but may not even be possible. The video was removed for violating the policy of harassment against Stephen Paddock, Deep Blue Charters, Salmon Falls Resort, the state of Alaska, or Glacier Bay, Alaska, or Gustavus, Alaska, or Ketchikan. Or maybe it's because I mispronounced them. I don't know. You decide. I'm really curious about your input. Next, I don't do this normally, but I'm doing it now. If you have a Twitter account, you can look up Team YouTube. It's a Twitter account, and point them to the video I had up, and maybe this video too, and say, why do you keep flagging this guy for shit that isn't possible? He's criticizing Stephen Paddock and you're complaining he's harassing somebody. They don't listen to me, and again, when I tried to fill out the reply form complaining that this was inaccurate, not only didn't it let me do it, it said I submitted it when I hadn't it with information that was a blank page. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And if you give a damn, maybe you'll share it on Twitter to Team YouTube and ask them, why do you guys keep doing this? And now why are you flagging videos and not even letting me fill out the little form where I'm asking you to unflag it?